What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Man, what's the matter with that cat there?
Must be full of reefer.
Full of reefers?
Yeah, man.
Mean that cat's high?
Sailing.
Sailing?
Light.
We now wander off the beaten path with an update from the Reefer Reporter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Reefer Reporters. I'm your joint host, Kim Cooper.
And I am Cindy Howell, and we are live here from the Legacy420.com news desk.
Today's date is April the 8th in 2021, and together, Cindy and I bring you our Global Reefer Report here at paceradio.net. We've got some exciting news on tap today, but before we dive into that, Cindy and I are going to let you know we're testing out yet again some new tech.
Because, hey, why not? It's what we do here on the Thursday Reefer Reporters.
That's it. Thursday is test day. We're trying to work out the kinks and make things play a little bit more smoothly for you all of our listeners out there in Facebook land. So we are testing a new box that I've got added on. It's called a Razor Ripsaw, and hopefully that will allow us to stream a little bit more seamlessly, shall we say, without the glitches.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers are crossed for sure. I'm muting you on the other one. No, I'm muting you on that one. Okay, good stuff. We've got an extra story as well today that we're going to bring to you. So instead of covering 10 stories today, we are actually covering 11. So we're going to burn through a couple of them fairly quickly so that we can get them all in today. We added a story in because, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some breaking news for you hitting the global news wire here in Canada. We've got an acquisition and a rather big one going on.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read this before we started, so I'm reading it with everybody listening. But Canopy Growth to acquire Supreme Cannabis for $435 million in stock. That's huge.
Yeah. $435 million. Now, these are both fairly large companies. Supreme is not like they're mid-size, but they're not a tiny player. Supreme Cannabis has been around for quite a while. So this is coming to us from Smith Falls, Ontario, of course, the home of Canopy Growth. And according to the article, as Cindy said, we're learning about this with you. We haven't had a chance to pre-read this at all, so we're learning along with you. They are pleased to announce that they have entered into a definitive arrangement agreement under which Canopy Growth will acquire all of Supreme Cannabis issued and outstanding common shares in a transaction valued at approximately $435 million. Under the terms of the arrangement, Supreme Cannabis shareholders will receive less than one share of Canopy's common shares in exchange for the exchange ratio. Wow.
You okay? So Kim said less than one share, and I started whistling because it is not just less than one share; it is less than one share, like a huge drop.
Yeah.
And this story only broke at 8:36 this morning, folks. That's why it's been added on to our stories. This transaction is expected to provide several benefits to both Canopy and Supreme. To the shareholders. Notably, following completion of the acquisition, Canopy will possess a strengthened brand portfolio, including one of Canada's leading premium brands, 7 Acres. Well, that's interesting. Brand growth is anticipated with distribution supported by Canopy's robust sales and distribution network, as well as superior consumer insights and R&D capabilities. In addition, to receiving a market premium, Supreme Cannabis shareholders will also benefit from Canopy's U.S. CBD business and conditional positioning for continued exposure in the U.S. market expansion.
Yeah,
Well,
so I mean, this is a big deal. Like Supreme is, like I say, a mid-sized company. They already had some tentacles out there. So combining under the Canopy Growth header, you're not just getting Supreme, you're getting other stuff that Supreme is involved with.
Yeah, because there's what, 3 companies that are under that umbrella. There's 7 Acres Supreme, and I'm sorry, the third one is totally eluding me at the moment.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I only know because I had followed 7 Acres for a while,
Right,
and every
right.
time I go on their site, I see that they're affiliated with Supreme and the licensed producer that's just escaping my memory for the moment.
Yeah, what keeps ringing over in my head, the only picture that comes to my mind here is, the old adage that you've seen from years gone by from other companies and other entities getting swallowed up by larger companies. You've got the fisherman with the minnow on the hook, and then the big fish comes along and gets that, and then the bigger fish comes along and eats that one, and then along comes the shark and he's got them all.
Yep.
Right. And, it's like smaller, bigger, 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 bigger. And that's exactly what we're seeing in cannabis.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I mean, we're watching, there's a few of the larger companies that seem to be in competition for swallowing up the smaller ones. And I'm going to be interested to see how this industry goes over the next few years. Because really, it started only a couple of years ago with legalization that a lot of these other companies started popping up and then eating each other. So in the past 2 years, we've seen a lot of consolidation, and it'll be interesting to see what the next 2 years bring. And how many companies we're actually going to be left with in 2 years.
Yeah, and it's encompassing legacy as well, legacy market area as well. We seen it transition with the first cannabis lounge that we had in Ontario, which was the Hot Box. The Hot Box was bought by Friendly Stranger. Friendly Stranger was purchased by 48 North. 48 North was then purchased, so by a larger LP, and on it goes. So it's all the way across the board. We're seeing it repeated.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where we end up in a couple of years, and how everything's going to consolidate, and how many of the companies are going to be left.
Yeah. So big news with Supreme Cannabis getting swallowed whole by Canopy Growth. That's a big story that we definitely had to cover in breaking news. And now we're going to get to our regular news stories that we already had picked out. As I said, a couple of them are going to go by fairly quickly in order to make up the time for adding that Canopy Growth story in. So we're going to talk a little bit about Yahoo Finance story coming to us with an evolution on Ontario. Sensi Brands Inc. launched its first to Ontario cannabis SKU with 2 4-pack of pre-rolls in a new strain. A 2-4.
Summer 2021 brings us the new 2-4.
The 2-4.
The 2-4. Popular pre-roll offering adds Mandarin cookies to its portfolio, and a new multi-pack SKU highlights packaging innovation and value for both retailers and consumers. I'm really excited about this. It's a 2-4. The limited edition Mandarin Cookies 2-4 pack will be available to Ontario-based retailers beginning April 5th. And on your birthday, happy birthday, Kim! You can get a new 2-4.
I can get a new 2-4.
It's expected to be on shelves for consumers shortly thereafter. Every 2-4 pack contains 2 Signature Station House 12 packs in a recyclable paper box. So we're not just getting the new 2-4, we're getting a new package.
Yeah,
we've been screaming that they've been packaging everything so wrong, all this plastic, all this waste. Now we're getting a recyclable paper box.
I mean, that's excellent. It could be, a test ground for the packaging as well, and hopefully steps towards a better future for packaging for cannabis products. Absolutely. This is being launched by Aurora in Aurora, Ontario, and the licensed cannabis producer Sensi Brands is pleased to announce the launch of the exciting new 2 4-pack pre-roll selling brand. I mean, for people like me, I don't drink alcohol. So it'd be kind of cool to be able to say, yeah, I'm going to go to the store and pick up a 2 4. People would be looking at me like, what? You're doing what?
Like, that's what I was thinking too. I don't drink anymore. I mean, especially if I did drink, I'd never like the taste of beer. So I mean, like, I can go get a 2 4 now. That's kind of, not that I would, but I mean, like, I could, and I think that's really kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. So we just wanted to touch base and let you know there is a brand new 2 4 available out there for people that are not alcohol consumers, but still would like to say, yeah, I'm going to pick up a 2 4.
Absolutely. Tons of fun for the summer of 2021.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So from a little bit of humor to something not so humorous for the people in the province of Quebec.
Oh my
Marijuana
God, yeah.
Business Daily has our next story with some big changes happening over there.
Yeah. Cannabis sales in Quebec border city collapse after province hikes age requirement. Yeah. Cannabis store sales plunged in the Quebec border city of Gatineau after the province raised the legal age for purchasing cannabis from 18 to 21 in January of 2020, according to an analyst of data provided by Statistics Canada. So to me, the story isn't the plunging of sales for Gatineau. It is, oh my God, they raised it to 21?
They raised it to 21. There's a graph on this story that shows adult use cannabis sales in Gatineau, Ottawa, and Ontario. And it's basically in dollars, and it shows there is absolutely a huge drop off, but there was in Ottawa as well, around simultaneously around the same time. So it's funny that they're not really highlighting that. They're really focused on Quebec. Ottawa is not part of Quebec, so it's not affected by the increase in age. Yet there was a similar drop off there. So I kind of think the drop off has to do with other reasons besides the age thing. And you're absolutely correct. The age increase is the story here that's being buried in nonsensical statistics. The increasing the age, when you can buy alcohol in that province at 18, but they're not permitting you to purchase cannabis until you're 21, that's just moronic.
Yeah, it blows my mind. You know, it just blows my mind. 21, 18 to 21. I guess I would understand it a little bit more if they took all of their ages to 21.
That's right.
Smoking,
right.
Cannabis and alcohol. If they took all of their ages to 21, I'd still be sitting here shaking my head, but I wouldn't be as disgusted.
Exactly.
The only thing they're raising to 21 is cannabis, and that's just foolish.
Yeah.
They're leaving the two things that can kill you at 18, but you can't start healing yourself for another 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my dogs are just about to freak out. I don't know if somebody's coming to my door, if there's a bear walking by, but we might get noisy.
Okay. As long as we all know we might hear the dog song.
We may get noisy. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But yeah, in Quebec, I mean, definitely. Policy experts and business sources say Gatineau's drop might stem from a number of factors, acting in concert to drive consumers back to the illicit market or across the borders to neighboring Ottawa or Ontario, which has fewer restrictions on the sale of regulated cannabis. Well, depends on where you are. If you're coming to Ontario, they kind of center out Ottawa or Ontario. Well, Ottawa is in Ontario, so I don't understand the
Yeah, and I mean they're
there.
bringing this along too when there are restrictions. Like I mean, if somebody's going to go across the border to get their cannabis, absolutely fine. I'm totally for it. I mean, if you know that's what's going to go on in Quebec, but now as soon as they get home, they have to quarantine for 2 weeks. I mean, so what a time to do this to them. So
Yeah.
if you're going to go across the border to get your cannabis, I mean, go and get a month's worth. Because when you come home, I mean, you're going to be stuck inside for 2 weeks, and then you know you want at least a couple of weeks to do whatever before you have to go do that trek again.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this is not going to do anything to alleviate the flood to the legacy markets out there. It's not going to bring people to the stores in Quebec,
Nope.
and it's not going to curb use for people between the ages of 18 and 21. Just because you've made sales of that product not available to that age group, 19, 18 and up is legal federally. So these people can still get it elsewhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, and we've proved that for 100 years that we can get it elsewhere. We don't need the government to sell it to us.
Yeah, that's
we've
right.
proved like ever since Prohibition that you know that's okay. You guys do you. We got us. And you know, it's only because we can get it elsewhere that they, you know, I think they're finally starting to take notice and go, well, maybe we should, and they did because they want their money. And so to think that they're going to control very like I mean. One of my most, you know, MacGyver type, you know, ages was 18 to 21. So, I mean, these are very resourceful humans at that age. I was.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now the question at the bottom of this, is it Ottawa's gain? Gatineau's loss appears to be Ottawa's gain, at least when it comes to regulated retail sales. Quebec's decision to raise the consumption age to 21 is more puzzling, experts say, given that the province has the lowest consumption age in the country for alcohol at 18, which is exactly what we were just discussing. You know, it makes absolutely no sense at all, even to the powers that be.
No, it's going to chase retailers out of the province. I mean, the policy has the effect of driving Ontario's teenagers in. The policy has the effect of driving Ontario's teenagers into Quebec to buy alcohol legally, while Quebec's youth appear to be crossing into Ontario to buy cannabis legally. And they're just, you know, they're kind of crossing at the border.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. We see our 18-year-olds here in Northern Ontario because the border is right there. I live 15 minutes off the border of Quebec. So, I mean, we see our 18-year-olds, their 18th birthday, all the boys flood over to Quebec so that they can go to the bar when they turn 18, you know. And similarly, the 19-year-olds flood over here now so that they can buy cannabis.
Absolutely, yeah. They'll go back and forth. Like, I mean, like, and I live in Nova Scotia. When I turned 18, like, I mean, my goal was to go visit Quebec.
Right. That's
Right?
a lot of people's goals in this country.
At the age of 18, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of I find it very ironic that now their 18-year-olds are looking at crossing the border for cannabis, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real lengthy article. It goes on to talk about, you know, product availability and pricing and that kind of thing, possibly having something to do with it. But, you know, the drop in prices, as we say, I don't think is the real story there. It's more about the actual age limit that they've enacted there. And, you know, that's really a head scratcher. It is a total head scratcher. Our next story is an interesting one, and it has a bit piece. It talks about a little bit about a very good friend of the show and a legacy a consumer as well as advocate. Ted Smith is mentioned in this next article. BC grower has become Canada's first licensed producer to unionize, according to the Mugglehead magazine.
Yeah, you know, after a thwarted previous attempt, workers at Botanicals Green Growers are the first of Canada's nearly 300 licensed producers to unionize. 300. On Wednesday, the UFCW 1518 welcomed staff from Preachland, British Columbia-based medical cannabis growing and processing facility as the latest member of the union's BC Bud Division.
Yeah, which is amazing to see, protections for employees, standards for employees happening in this newly blossoming industry. You go down to the next paragraph, and that's where we get into talking a little bit about our friend, Ted Smith. This month, the country's longest running unlicensed dispensary, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club, also joined the union.
Congratulations, Ted and company.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that is unlicensed dispensary in a union.
Yeah. Our BC Bud division keeps growing because cannabis industry workers know their value and the power they can wield when they work together, which is true. And that's a statement from Kim Novak, who's the president of the UFCW 1518. Yeah, so they've now opened their arms to, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club, and unlike, as you say, an unlicensed dispensary. Ted and his employees, now have a bit of protection.
Yeah, which is amazing to see them being embraced. Oh, Ted, he's got a way about him, man. You fall into everything that guy wants to do because he's just so passionate. He lives and breathes and exudes everything that he speaks of. He's the real deal, and that's what draws you in. Bud tenders and other cannabis workers want to work in the industry as a career, not just a job, according to the union. So, I mean, they want their education advanced as well as the science, and they want to shape the industry with equitable workplaces and fair wages.
Yeah, and which is really exciting. We've been the cannabis industry struggles for any help in any way, whether it be banks or feeling safe in your job, securities, and this is really a wonderful step forward. I hope that it expands across country. I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Staff at Botanicals began negotiations for the collective agreement earlier this month, and the final agreement, including establishing a contract-backed grievance procedure for solving workplace issues, guaranteed wage increases, and 5 paid sick days a year.
Nice. Paid sick days. I mean, this is an industry. This is a workforce. Just because it's based in cannabis, why should they have not have the same perks as a regular job?
Absolutely. I mean, like it is a regular job. It's just
it is a regular job.
It's like any other pharmaceutical job, to be honest. Like, I mean, like,
yep.
This is medicine. It's not a pharmacare pharmaceutical. It's a natural pharmaceutical, but it's still a medicine. It's still a pharmaceutical. And these people, I believe, are still working in the health industry in one way
Absolutely.
or another. And they
see,
deserve
even me using the wrong terms there. Like, why it is a regular job. It absolutely is a regular job. But that's
how
built
society,
into our brain.
Yeah, it's
right?
the stigma. And it's, like, even as activists and advocates, we have to remind ourselves from time to time that we're trying to change everybody else's language to, like, this is a regular job. These are healthcare workers. Your bud tenders, your growers, your producers. I mean, like, these are healthcare workers. Like, I mean, they are making medicine for your health. And they deserve to have all the same securities that nurses and doctors and orderlies have in a hospital, or pharmacists, or, anybody that works in the field, dentists. Like, I mean, they deserve to have the same security that everybody else in their field has.
Absolutely. 100%. And, it's the evolution continues on that front, right down to us. Using the right terms, right?
Well, it's I mean, like, yeah, it's it's hard to stop. I mean, like, I have a friend who's a bud tender, and when all of this, pandemic first started, like, I mean, she had one of those memes as her profile. I'm an essential healthcare worker, and that's what changed my view on it. When I saw her put that up, it's like, holy shit, you are.
Yep.
Like, wow,
It's a
you
medicine.
really are.
You're
Like,
supplying a medicine.
absolutely. So yeah, you go, my natural pharmacist, you go.
Yes,
Right? Yeah.
absolutely. 100%. Now, if we could only get the powers that be south of the border to make some
To see it
time
same,
for
to see
this,
it the same
it'd
way,
be
and
really, really good.
to
It'd
think
be
it's
really,
important
really good,
enough to
which
take
brings
20 minutes. Yeah. Yes.
yeah, which brings us to our next story from Marijuana Moment.
Yeah, Biden is too busy to decriminalize cannabis, Harris says. Well, Mr. Biden, I think you should get on it. Vice
Yeah.
President Kamala Harris says that the Biden administration isn't focused on following through on its cannabis reform pledges because it is too overwhelmed with responding to the coronavirus pandemic. Yeah, something else that the coronavirus is being used as an excuse for.
Yeah, well, I mean, the coronavirus is responsible for all that ails the planet these days, don't you
Mhm.
know? But being a president of the United States is about multitasking, Mr. Biden. You're going to have to make the time, and if you can't find the time currently on your calendar, well, then you're going to have to get an hour's less sleep in order to get it done, because this is something that the people want. The people in your country have spoken. Every individual state in that country has spoken in volumes. So you're going to have to get on it pretty soon. But his words and her words, his actions and her words are having an effect on the market as well. But in an interview with the San Francisco Chronicle, the vice president was asked about cannabis policy and said, "We haven't yet taken that on, despite campaign promises to push for reforms like decriminalization and expunging prior cannabis records." They talk about Corona. It's been all consuming. Well, when you were on the campaign trail promising this stuff, Corona was part of life then.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was a big part of life. Um, you know, and she says, honestly, right now, we've been focused on getting people food, helping them stay in their apartments or in their homes, getting kids back to school, getting shots into arms. It has been all consuming, she says. But you're right. Like, I mean, like, they knew what they were going to come up against when they were running. They knew exactly what the coronavirus was when they were making all of these promises.
Yeah, they knew about all of it. They knew about all of the backpedaling on executive orders they had to do. They knew about the mountains of fixes they had to put in from the prior 4 years. They knew about the coronavirus and the epidemic and how they were going to handle it. They even said they had a plan before they got in there. And then they also said that this was going to be a priority. Expunging records and righting wrongs was a priority. And people that are in that position or have loved ones in that position or have felt the disparities from cannabis prohibition voted for this guy for that reason.
Absolutely. They put their trust in him, as we do, as we have to with any politician. When we're looking at, when we're looking at elections, we have to pick. I always say to pick the lesser of two evils, because that some stuff is going to be put to the back. But they, this is how he won. I mean, this kind of reminiscent of our prime
Other
minister
years.
winning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. And that's how you got people up off the couch and in to vote for you, because it's like, hey, he's going to help make my life easier and help, end this stigma. And people are getting up and they're going in and they're voting the same as, a lot of Canadian cannabis users did a number of years ago. And then they get put on the back burner. So, and my guesstimate is come about 2 months before, they get ready to start on the election trail the next time in 3 years, all of a sudden that's when it's going to become important, and they're going to do something to try and get their next 4 years.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't have time, but we're going to do it this time, I promise, because all that other stuff is done now. So now this is a priority, and here we go again with more promises, that never seem to materialize. So advocates have argued that cannabis policy and coronavirus relief are not mutually exclusive. And I agree. For one, ending federal cannabis prohibition could free up more states to set up tax and regulate systems for cannabis, creating needed jobs and revenue to aid their economic recovery. I mean, people have lost positions, jobs have shut down and disappeared, businesses are gone, factories are closing, and cannabis could fill a gap. So why aren't you moving on this, Biden?
Yeah,
it's part of it.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi last year defended the House Democrats' decision to include language in COVID packaging that would protect banks that service the marijuana industry or the cannabis industry from being penalized by federal regulators. She said cannabis, so this is House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, cannabis is a therapy that has proven successful.
Yeah. But we still have it taking a back seat on a federal level. So we're going to have to watch and see. The article again is quite lengthy. It goes on to talk about their positions and everything, but really he's got to decriminalize it and at least leave it up to the states so it's not federally legal, so that those that do want to participate can. It was part of your campaign trail promises. It is time to follow through. As it's stated in the article, if you're going to use coronavirus as the reason that this hasn't gone through any more quickly, well, that's BS too, because it goes hand in hand with coronavirus relief.
Absolutely. I mean, and they can make a ton of money on the taxes, which will turn around and help pay for things that they need pay for. It'll give people jobs. It'll help the economy come back. There is so much goodness around this industry and what they could give if they would get on top of it.
Yep, absolutely. We've got one more story. I know that was 5. We're going 6 today. As we said, we've got the extra one in there before we go to break. We've got one more we're going to come at you with here, an important one that is also tied into the Biden administration, goes hand in hand with our last story. Be There for Veterans is coming to us from Americans for Safe Access.
Yes, Be There for Veterans. Jose Bellin is a native of Amsterdam, New York. At 19, he enlisted in the army and deployed to Iraq in 2003 during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He was honorably discharged in 2005 and eventually settled in Florida, where he started a career in real estate and began to raise a family. For years, he suffered the effects of PTSD in silence, as the existing medical system for veterans had failed to help him. In 2017, he founded Florida Mission Zero with the help of his wife. The organization works to make sure that PTSD isn't a death sentence for veterans through education campaigns and suicide prevention efforts. Today, Jose is the member of Veterans Cannabis Coalition, and this is his story.
Wow, it's an amazing story. I would love to get into depth with this. We can't get into depth with it. We can give you an overview. It's a definitely must read. We will put the information up on our site. He nearly took his own life several times after coming home from the battlefield, and the reality for most of them, that never leaves their minds when they're out there. It repeats over and over and over again. He says he had personally attended many funerals of veterans that they lost to suicide. And it's, if they make it home, how can we be allowing them to die when they get here?
Yeah, yeah. These people, these soldiers, put their lives on the line, and and not just when they're there, when they're home, because they have to fight their demons that are on the inside. And we lose on the average of 22 veterans a day to depression, to PTSD. It's usually by suicide. So if we have the ability to help these people lead a somewhat normal life after they have gone and given us freedoms and put their life on the line and watched their brothers and sisters die, we should be helping them in every way we can. And it infuriates me to great amounts that any government would continue to put their soldiers in harm's way.
Absolutely. And so what can be done about it? Well, lots. Get the emails out. Get your notepad out and write a pen and paper letter. Go bang on a door. Contact your member of parliament or your house representative for wherever you live in the United States. I'm not sure what the exact terms are down there, so I apologize. I am Canadian. So contact your member of state down there, your governors, your mayors, all of that. Get in touch with the VA in your local community. Let them know that you think that they should allow VA doctors to recommend cannabis.
Absolutely. And, don't just stop there. Like, hit your government too. And I'm talking your federal government, because it is those laws, like we talked about in the last story, that aren't changing, that are stopping a lot of these federal doctors working with people who work in federal positions, such as, soldiers. I mean, and even then when they retire, they still look at them as federal employees because they're still drawing a federal pension, et cetera, for their time. So, these doctors are scared because of the federal laws. So write your vice president, write your president. Send emails, send letters. Get loud, and help the people, help protect the people that are protecting you.
Yep. Urge VA Secretary McDonough to allow VA doctors to recommend cannabis. Absolutely. Get on it, and let's help our vets that have helped us so very, very much.
Absolutely.
So very, very much. So now we are time for our commercial break, and we're going to go to a break and hear from our sponsors, which means medication time. Yay!
Whoosh.
And then Cindy and I will be right back after the break. This is the Reefer Reporters live on paceradio.net. Well, let's see how this goes.
Individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants. Garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Do you want to hear what patients and cannabis advocates have to say? If so, then catch the Pace Radio Show Wednesday nights here on paceradio.net.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
And we are back here on the Pace Radio Network. And I don't have my notes up, so I'm winging it. And we're back from our medication session here on the Reefer Reporters. And if you're not sure, yep, we're live here at paceradio.net.
Yeah, and if you miss our live shows, don't forget they are available afterwards as a podcast on our website, on audio apps such as Spreaker, Spotify, Castbox, SoundCloud, plus Google or Apple Podcast, or anywhere you can find us.
Yeah, we're all over the place. That's for sure. That's for sure. And we've got 5 stories coming at you for our second segment here on the Reefer Reporters. And our first one that we're coming back to, we're gonna go to Colorado. Oh no, we're not. We're gonna go to Willie Nelson. That's where we're going. Willie Nelson's in the news.
Yeah, coming to us from Variety. Willie Weed Week is nigh as Willie Nelson and Nathaniel Ratcliffe help present a virtual cannabis convention. Oh, I'm going.
Oh my God, I'm going to this for sure. Willie is back. Willie Weed. Willie Nelson and Luck presents Rogue Collective, based in the hometown of Luck, Texas. And they have announced a 4-day virtual cannabis convention to be hosted online by fellow musicians Nathaniel Ratcliffe.
Nice. Dubbed the Luck Summit Planting the Seed, the ticketed event will serve as a benefit for the Headcounts Cannabis Voter Project, with programming beginning April 26th, wrapping up on Nelson's 88th birthday on April 29th. 88 years old, and he's still rocking it.
He is still rocking it. Good old cannabis is keeping Willie in homeostasis, so he sticks around for a very long time. He's of course a cannabis musician icon. So of course we're thrilled to partner with him, said Sam D'Arcangelo. The director of Cannabis Voter Project. Texas and the rest of the United States are sitting at the cannabis crossroads right now. Texas for sure. And there's no better time to celebrate how far we've come and have a conversation about where cannabis legalization goes from here. All in the state of Texas.
Yeah, that's huge. Huge. And just so y'all know, there is a link in this that you can click and register. So it's very, very easy. You don't have to go looking this up everywhere. It just says registration is available here. Just click here and it'll take you to where you need to go.
Yeah. And it's online. It begins on April the 26th. 420 will not go unmarked. Naturally, this is a Willie Nelson event. So as Luck presents, marks the starting date of the 9-day high holidays. It starts on the 26th, but they're marking it on the 27th, on the 20th. The org says it's pushing the Biden administration and Congress to officially designate the high holidays into law as a national holiday. Although at present it might not seem like good luck with that. Prospect supporters are urged to sign a change.org petition, and the link is in the bio.
Absolutely. Now they usually do a once a year festival anyway, based around music. It's called the Luck Festival and whatnot. I watched it last year online, so this is their way of expanding on that, and it's really exciting. So Luck Presents is known for putting on a spring mini festival each year in the hometown of Willie Nelson. That gives the org its name. But 2021 marks the second spring in a row that the Luck reunion has had to sit the year out and move towards virtual festivities. The April Cannabis Summit is being billed as the first annual of many more to come. And like I said, I watched the Luck reunion last year. It was absolutely phenomenal. You would not think that Willie Nelson was 87, had just turned 87 years old at the time. He's sitting there with his 20-year-old son, right? So, at 68, Willie Nelson was a very vile man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is exciting stuff. I'm definitely going to be tuning in. That's something to do during the high holidays.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. The high holidays. I'm all for it, Willie. I am all for it. Now we are going to go to Colorado with an interesting story coming to us from the weed state.
Absolutely. So coming from the denverchannel.com, Colorado is auctioning off cannabis-themed license plates.
Ganja, honey, bong, herb, hemp, stash, some of the license plate paraphernalia that's featured on the picture on this ad. For the right price, Colorado drivers can buy the rights to cannabis-themed plate configurations as part of the Colorado Disability Fund 420 auction. 14 license plates with the words bong, hash, and indica are being auctioned off.
Nice. So bidders are buying the right to use the license plate configuration on their official Colorado license plate, and will be responsible for paying a standard DMV registration fee if they win. So the revenue from these pot plates will go to the Colorado Disability Funding Committee, which is really great. Cannabis enthusiasts and cannabis activists and advocates are always willing and wanting to donate and help.
Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. When we look at this kind of stuff going on in places like Colorado, again, I'm going to go back to it. I say it almost pretty much every week. United States of America, federally illegal. Okay, but they're doing stuff like license plate auctioning off to give money to the needy, to the disability fund, to help people less fortunate. And they're taking those proceeds and they're putting them where they're needed. And here in Canada, where it is federally legal, we can't run an ad.
Here in Canada, where it's federally legal, I pulled in to get gas yesterday, and I was wearing paraphernalia. I had paraphernalia hanging, masks hanging in my car with cannabis all over them. And at the next pump was a police officer, and I got eyed.
Yeah. Of course.
And in Colorado, they're making you or giving you the ability to be prideful of your cannabis, affiliation, and actually have it on your car.
Yeah, display it on your license plate. Here, please. Oh, did we get it wrong? You think? Oh, just too much. Oh, Canada. I don't know what.
And Colorado is being good with this. They do have a disclaimer: don't drive high. Please use cannabis responsibly within the limits of the Colorado laws. Which is, they're still being responsible with it, yet having fun with it. And I think that's something that Canada needs to strive towards.
Absolutely. Loosen up a little bit, Canada. I mean, it's legal. The sky didn't fall. People aren't getting run over on the walls, on the roads, or on the
Or on the
sidewalks,
walls.
or on the walls. And, I mean, none of that happened. The children aren't falling down. Use didn't skyrocket amongst the youth. Everybody's fine. Get over it.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Really, we're good. Even Pepsi's in on it these days, and they're going global.
Yeah, yeah. Hemp Industry Daily is coming to us with a report. PepsiCo launches hemp beverage in Germany.
Germany,
Yeah.
Germany. We're here. We're here. Rockstar. Globally loved by many, is an energy drink. My son is a big fan as well. A drink owned by PepsiCo, and it has launched a line of hemp-infused drinks in Germany.
Yeah, this is really cool. Just Drinks reports that the Rockstar Energy plus Hemp was released this past Saturday in 3 flavors. And PepsiCo tells the publication that the drinks have an intense hemp flavor. And the drinks will be sold only in Germany right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're hemp seed extract, caffeine, and taurine.
Taurine, yeah.
I don't know what taurine is. I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to have to look that up after the show. PepsiCo tells the public the drinks have the intense flavor, and they announced the sales projections would make it consider expanding the hemp drinks to more markets afterwards. So testing grounds in Germany.
Absolutely. And I have a feeling it'll go over well.
Yeah, testing grounds in Germany for hemp drinks. Yeah, cool stuff from coming to us from Pepsi, and that's as obviously we've gone global. Oh, and I've just pushed the wrong button. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. We are going global, and now we're going to go into Britain. There's a lot of sort of crown dependencies or colonies in and around the British Isles and that sort of thing, and they're looking at cannabis.
Yeah, how Britain's crown dependencies plan to cash in on cannabis. Just miles off the coast of the UK, Britain's crown dependencies smell opportunity in the air. Typically known for their tax-friendly regulation and as an outpost for wealthy entrepreneurs, the Isle of Man, Jersey, and Gunsurrey have all introduced new legislation allowing for easier investments in a new emerging market, medical cannabis cultivation.
Yeah, I mean the Isle of Man, of course, is well known to one and all. Easter Island, all of that is out there in that area, the little islands off the coast. And in January, the Isle of Man's Parliament approved plans to sell and grow cannabis and export cannabis for medicinal use. We covered this on the Reefer Reporters last year. As a crown dependency, like both Guernsey, and Jersey is self-governing, meaning that it does not need to wait for permission from the UK government. So they are part of the colonies, their dependencies, but they're not governed by them.
Yeah. So they have their own government and can change their own laws. We want to make sure medical cannabis is of high quality product. So we're at the top end of the market and we're attracting the right investment. We've put the framework in place and already the interest has been fantastic, which does not surprise me.
No, not at all. You're adding cannabis in, which is already highly lucrative and attractive. So for so many investors, now you're adding it into places like the Isle of Man, which has tax shelters involved. Companies will be scrambling
to
get in on this. For sure. Dozens of firms, both overseas and locally, have inquired about setting up on the island. And one local entrepreneur is already planning to build a 150,000 square foot indoor premise to grow medical cannabis. Other firms could also be set up and running as early as this year.
Oh, that's fantastic. So if we need to create legislation which suits an industry that we think will benefit us, we'll do it. And that's Mr. Skelly that is saying that the regulation is key to our success.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Scully said one firm had inquired about setting up inside the Isle of Man's airport technology gateway, connecting it to the island's free port. In turn, this would mean business would not pay import or export or an excise duty, helping reduce the cost and making it more competitive. So they're going to put it like on international land within the Isle of Man. So you've got a tax sheltered island that is now got an area with a free port.
Yeah.
And you're going to grow there, so it doesn't cross borders.
And they're hoping to get investors. I think they're going to be able to pick and choose who they do and don't want.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, eeny, meeny, miny, mo from the thousands coming at you. Congratulations!
You're growing
Isle
in
of
a
Man.
free port. I mean, it's basically, it's like being in international waters or international airspace. There is no customs to go through. You're in the middle of customs.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, congratulations, Isle of Man.
Man.
You guys are like, it's going to be fantastic for your economy.
Yeah. It goes on to discuss many other companies and ideas, property and global regulation that's happening, and Guernsey, that what's happening there. But the whole area is just popping, and they've got some great ideas and some fantastic opportunities for investors and entrepreneurs out there.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, this is going to be their whole economy because, like, I mean, this could be the new Amsterdam.
It could very well be the new Amsterdam. It could very well be for tourism. Could you imagine going there and you're making purchases, tax-free zones, and everything else? I mean, holy, this is a dream for investors for sure.
Absolutely.
And then you go to the other end, to the governing body in charge of these islands, and we're going into the UK and into London, and they're still struggling with looking at decriminalization.
Which takes us to the next story from High Times Daily. The London mayor plans commission to study cannabis decriminalization.
So it's not he's going to decriminalize, he's going to commission a study to look at it. So we're still studying on what to do.
They seem really kind of lost in caveman times when it comes to the cannabis industry.
Oh, we're going to study it. We'll take a year or two to study this, and we'll come at you with a decision after that.
Oh, okay. I see. He's looking for re-election. Yep.
Yeah. He's looking for this is an election campaign. Oh, we're going to look at it again. It's like we were talking about at the start of the show, right, with Biden. Right.
Yes.
We're gonna start the show with the election promises that were made. And now what's playing out after election? It's being put on the back burner. And now here we are across the globe, hopped over the pond, and we're in London. And we have the London mayor basically saying everything that Biden said because it's election time. London Mayor Sadiq Khan wants to form a commission to study the potential of decriminalization of cannabis if he is reelected next month, according to media reports from the United Kingdom. Khan was expected to unveil a proposal to study the health and economic and criminal justice benefits of cannabis decriminalization on Tuesday as part of his platform before reelection. But instead, he's like, no, we're gonna commission a study.
Yeah. It's time for fresh ideas about how to reduce the harms of drugs and drug-related crimes caused to individuals, families, and communities. Has he not been paying attention to the worldwide news?
Apparently not.
They have internet over there, right?
Yeah, I think they do. I'm pretty sure they do. This is London. We have listeners in Guyana and all over the place and all parts of Africa. I'm pretty sure London's got the internet.
Oh, the commission will make recommendations focusing on the most effective laws to tackle crime, protect Londoners' health, and reduce the huge damage that illicit drugs, including cannabis, cause to our communities and society.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor. They noticed that the illicit drug trade cost the UK about $19 billion per year, and nearly 42,000 people in England and Wales were charged with a drug-related offense last year. He said he's against decriminalization of Class A drugs, such as cannabis and heroin.
Oh my God,
He would support cannabis reform if the commission concludes the move would be beneficial. So he's still I'm against it, but you can do a study and try and convince me.
But it's not even that he's against it. He's still placing cannabis with illicit drugs.
Yeah.
He uses cannabis and heroin in the same sentence, and that just makes my hair stand on edge, right?
Yeah.
Khan's fate as London's mayor will be decided by voters in an election slated May 6th in 2019. And a public opinion poll from 2019, a public opinion poll found that nearly 2/3, 63% of the city's residents support the legalization and regulation of cannabis. So if he's so against it, 63% of his constituents are against him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, people of London, hopefully you've done your homework and hopefully you've done your research because, this guy's platform, he's like, oh, well, I'm against it and I'm going to put it in the same category as heroin, but I'm willing to look at it if you give me your vote. I hope you see the writing on the wall for this.
Absolutely. It's actually, pretty bright to neon pink.
Yeah. It's
vote for me so I can put you off again for another few more years,
sure.
Right?
Yeah. And that was our final story of the day.
Yeah.
I'm so very happy about that. I'm so very happy about that.
Well,
our final story for the day.
What, another month and we'll find out who his replacement is?
Yeah. And hopefully that's what we're going to find out is we're not going to find out that this guy was put back in. We're going to find out who his replacement is. We'll follow up with you on that just to keep you informed.
Absolutely.
Oh, my Lord. We had a wide variety of stories that we covered today, Cindy, and we went across the globe and boy, stuff's happening and then a lot of stuff just isn't.
Yeah, it's you see some areas moving really, really fast and making changes, and then you find some areas still doing studies.
Yeah. Mind-boggling it is indeed. That is our Reefer report for today, Thursday, April the 8th in 2021.
Yes, and we'd like to thank you for joining us here at the Legacy420.com news desk.
Thanks for listening to our Global Reefer Report here at paceradio.net. And if you enjoyed it, please share it with those you love and even those you don't. Ciao for now, and we'll bark at you later. Network here at paceradio.net.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.